witness said in his testimony that they were at Phokeng, where they went to register the case relating to the finding of the ammunition in possession of accused number 2. Yes. Then from Phokeng, they drove to Primrose, where we hear now when he's saying that the accused was booked accordingly to the book in the early hours of the morning. But what I did not get well in his testimony is what route did they use on their way to, from Phokeng to Primrose. I just want to align my notes with his testimony.
Yeah, you're correct.
Thank you.
As a court, please, Maloti, if you are able to clarify that.
Bare inke le tlhaloshe ba le boele gore le be le Phokeng mo eleng gore le la bula molato e fela gore le fitlile jwang Primrose ga se le tlhaloshe gore le sepetse ka ditsela tse di feng ba gopela gore le di tlhaloshe ditsela tsewe ba tle ba kgone gore le bone bangwale ga botse.
Uthi ke ummeli acelayo ka ukuthi khona nje aphikisana nako ukuthi uzwile uFakazi ethi ke usuke khona ke ePhokeng kodwa ukuthi kuyofika ke khona ePrimrose ukuthi umzila awusebenzisa noma umgwaqo ahamba ngawo lokho akakuzwanga becela nje ukuthi ke azokhona ukuthi abhale kahle ama notes akhe.
Thoma mo page, you can refer to the relevant page.
I will start on page 45, my lord.
Ngizoqala ke lokho ku page 45.
Moyering, Thoma Moyering, startup 2026 200309.
Where it's
I realize that the witness, when it's been requested to specifically indicate or to indicate the route that they take, it goes back into the document that is before him. And my understanding of it is that that is not how a witness is supposed to be testifying. A witness is supposed to testify independently from his own recollection. He can simply say, from our way to Phokeng, as I remember well, this is the road that we took. We took this road and this road and this road up to Primrose, if my memory serves me well. That will be the witness saying it. And then this document will come and say, basically, this is what is supposed to be happening. I mean, this is exactly the same route that this witness says they used. But for him to read from the document and say, according to this document, this is the route that we took from Phokeng on our way back to Primrose, it's irregular, my lord, because then that defeats the purpose of an independent recollection of the route that they took on that day. And that is how a witness is supposed to be testifying, because when he reads from this document, remember, my lord, this document still has got to be authenticated. We don't know who wrote this document. We understand that it's a computer downloaded document, but who downloaded it, we don't know. So basically, this document is not a testimony of this witness. When he reads from this document, it is no longer his testimony. It is what is written in this document, my lord. But a witness, the approach that a witness is supposed to embark upon when he testifies, he must try the best of his ability to testify independently from his own recollection. And I've been observing this witness. All his testimony regarding his movement and everything has been based on this document. And what is key is that he has been saying, according to this document, according to this document.
No, let's be fair to the witness. This is a detailed travelogue of the distance.
Yes, my lord.
Show me a witness in this world who can say, we waited at Dan Foster Street, RQ, on the on-ramp, waiting for the traffic to pass, and after 3 seconds, we traversed the street, then went to Danforee Street. Then after 5 seconds, we again stopped, and I infracted the speed limit, just like that. As I understand it, this evidence, he is narrating it from this document because he is the one who drove this vehicle.
The challenge that I have with that,
just listen to me.
Yes.
He is the one who drove this vehicle. As he was maneuvering it, this vehicle,
yes,
the computer,
yes,
in the vehicle
Yes, my lord.
was annotating the route he was taking, the seconds he was taking. So I don't see there's anything wrong with that. And it's important because in this case, there is evidence that some people were taken wherever and assaulted, and
Yes.
what have you, what have you.
Yes,
Now this witness
Yes.
is correct to read about the time interludes, which you can't recall without having access to this document. You can't. Try it, you can't. So to be fair to this witness, let him relate the way this document is annotated by the computer. Then you can cross-examine him. But to say he must do it from his graphic understanding of this information, which is here. Just look at it. You can see that.
That is
This
not,
court can rule that
Yes,
for
ma'am.
convenience sake,
yes, my lord.
he should continue as he is.
Yes.
Because of the voluminous
Let me
Evidence.
clarify. Let me clarify my point, my lord. I was not actually saying that this witness must remember each and every graphic detail of the route that they take, including the time and seconds and demiseconds, as to what actually happened at this particular second. I was just saying, my lord, at the level of generality, or in a holistic approach, you can simply say from our road on our route from Morocco, we took N1. From N1, we drove up until Pretoria. From Pretoria, we off-ramped into N4. From N4, we took the Bakwena Platinum Highway up until Phokeng. It will be irrational of me, of any of the counsel here, to expect that this witness should graphically remember that at 22:08 on that day in the evening, that is what was happening. Which is the reason why I'm standing up and saying, from his own recollection, he can simply say to this court, on our way back from Phokeng to Primrose, this is the road that we took. Not necessarily him having to refer graphically into each and every detail
I
of
see.
what is contained.
And
in
what
this
happens to the information contained from page 1 to page 46, is it?
document. Yes, madam.
What happens to this information?
let
Is
me
it
explain
admitted?
that. Yes.
This is the problem about splitting hairs. If this information is admitted,
Yes.
and the only thing in issue
Yes.
is whether this information is correctly annotated, it's a different point. But everything here is being disputed. I mean, all of this is disputed. All of this is disputed. That's why this witness has to go through this exercise. And then when you cross-examine, you can say, at 7:20 and 3 seconds, you said you moved from Waterval in Midrand,
Yes, madam.
and you connected Onderstepoort.
Yes, madam.
How did you go there? Fine, that's okay.
Just a quick one on that one, madam. I think, as I was following this testimony well, it has never been Mr. Ntandi's testimony on behalf of accused number 2.
No, he has
and I'm
never
not
been
pleading
Mr.
his
Ntandi.
case, madam. I'm not
Mr.
pleading
Ntandi
his
is not there, don't involve him.
Yes.
He is not traveling with this witness, as I understand the evidence.
Yes, madam.
He's being assaulted somewhere.
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
May I just complete what
Okay.
I'm saying, madam? Yes. When they were driving from Morocco, I think it's as I followed the evidence,
Yeah.
it is not disputed that from Morocco they went to Phokeng,
Right?
where they went to search for the hoodie, and Ntanzi was there.
No, the
And
evidence, as I understand it,
Yes.
Mr. Ntanzi says they went to Phokeng because he thought they were releasing him. I listened to the evidence. He's not traveling. He's thinking they are releasing him.
Yes, but he is with.
Yes, sir.
The thought of being released, my lord, is not when he was taken to Phokeng for the
It
hood.
was when he was taken
It
away.
was after the verification of the whereabouts of the accused from Carltonville, where Kininda and the
Yes,
rest
yes,
of them.
yes, yeah, you're right, you're right.
That's when he decided, he thought they are releasing.
Yeah, fine. And
Yes.
that he's not being released. He's been taken to Phokeng.
That is so, my lord.
Okay,
But
fine.
basically what I'm saying, my lord, is that it appeared to me that it is not in dispute that at one moment on the 19th, Tanzi, in the company of the investigating team, drove to Phuket with a view to go and search for further evidence in the name of a hoodie. Fortunately, when they searched there, then they found other evidence that then incriminated him in respect of unrelated offenses, my lord. So what I'm saying is, it is really not an expectation from the defense that his testimony should testify about the seconds, about exactly the corners that they took when on their way to Phuket and on their way from Phuket to Primrose. All that I was saying is that this witness, out of his own recollection, can simply tell this court that as we drove from Phuket on our way back to Primrose, this is the road that we took. It's not necessary for him to say at 1 o'clock in the morning, this is what we did. At 3 o'clock in the morning, the car was involved in a high rev. At 20 past 2 in the morning, we oversped and all those things. It's just a summary
I
of what
agree with you. Common sense would dictate that this evidence should be led the way you are.
Yes,
But you must recall that it was put to this witness that he was actually torturing, in a sense, Mr. Ntanzi
yes,
by keeping him awake for 15 hours or 14 hours. You recall that?
as it pleases the
Right.
court. Madam. No, thank you. I
Are you
understand.
with me?
Yes. Thank
So
you.
it's important that he must testify as to the expiration of the time, as to what was he doing.
As
Now
a-
he's saying, hey, I was at John Foster in Centurion. Da-da-da, da-da-da.
As it pleases the court. Madam.
Okay.
Thank you, madam.
All right, Mr. Baloyi, what's your view?
As a court, please, my lord. We've been through a day of testimony and there was no objection. Witness has been testifying, saying, I was the driver of this vehicle, and basically confirming what stands in this movement report as the route that he took, just much more in detail. That is the first thing. Then the second point is, counsel says it's not in dispute that accused number 2 was taken from Phuket to Primrose, and if that is not in dispute, I don't see what's the point of the route that they traveled. But now, when the witness tries to testify as to the route that they took, now there's also an objection. I don't
Now
know
it's a
whether.
clarification. Mr. Mnisi
Yes.
is not objecting. He wants a clarification.
Yes, on the route. Now, he wants this witness out of his memory to testify about the route that they took 3 years ago, my lord. I don't know if, the witness, but we can find out from the witness if he can.
No. Let's keep the record as it is.
As a court.
Because as I digest the evidence, it was put to him that you actually said it's 12 and a half hours, right?
Nkare le nna le rile ke
When
di
you were in the
iri tse ka
company of Mr. Ntanzi.
di iri tse e leng gore di ka ba lesomepedi le karolo ya ura mo e leng gore le be le na le Mr. Ntanzi.
I kind of more or less.
More or less.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
But it was insinuating that you did that in order to tire and make Mr. Ntanzi a soft target to be persuaded to make a confession.
Mo e
You
leng gore
deprived him sleep. Mr. Chololo put it like that. He only slept for 2.5 hours. And it was all deliberate in order that you must gain advantage over his resistance in not making a confession.
mo e leng
That's how I
gore
understood the evidence. Anyway.
Yes.
Memshololo go ya ka yena o be a re Ntanzi le a mo lapisha ge ntse le mo sepediša kana mogola gore le tlo kgona go humana botlhatsi bola bo e leng gore o be a bolela gore yena o re go diragetseng ka gore Memshololo feletše a rile o robetse fela iri tše pedi ke ka mo e leng gore le feletše le gore le boletše le nako yeo.
That's why it's important for this court to actually appreciate and know what the expiration of time was expended on. I don't know. But if you read from this, if this is correct, one can start appreciating, for instance, that when you went to Boksburg, somebody forgot his memory stick and what have you, and you had to drive back to Soweto. Is that not so?
gape ge e le gore lena le bala ditokomane tše ke mo e leng gore motho o swanetše yena a kgone go kwešiša gore motho o ke o sepetše a be a ya kae ga a fitlha Boksburg ke mo e leng gore ba ile ba gopola gore motho o šile memory stick ya gage ke mo e leng gore le ile la boela morago a go jwana.
Indeed, my lord.
That is correct, my
And
lord.
you also stopped at an engine filling station, takeaway, Kentucky, you recall? If you don't mention all those things, we don't know how the time was spent by you because there wouldn't be evidence to appreciate that at some stage you stopped to buy food.
Gape le ge lena le ile la tlhaloša le ile la re le eme engine kae lena le reka wimpy goba le tšea takeaway ela ya wimpy go be go ka se kwešišege gore botsebotse batho ba kgale ba ema ba dira eng lena šimo le kgonne go tlhaloša ka lebaka la gore pampiri ga e tlhaloše yona.
Here we are, my lord.
So I
That is how so.
suggest let's continue in the same manner in which we were, unless persons want to say we admit that evidence, then that's different. Okay, right,
As the court
continue.
pleases, you can continue from where you left off.
Bjale re tlo tšwela pele go tlogelela mo be le gona
You're on page 45.